Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be looking at how Huo Yu Hao and Tang Wu Tang bait two elite Soul Engineer legions into a dangerous trap, how a desperate commander is forced to open fire on his own retreating soldiers to stop a panic from spiraling, and how a hidden prince finally reveals his royal blood to save a broken empire. Before we dive in, kindly smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. The episode begins with Huo Yu Hao and Tang Wu Tang floating high in the sky watching the Evil Eye Tyrant and Imperial Dragon Soul Engineer legions below, as the soldiers land and pull into a tight defensive formation. Tang Wu Tang asks if the formation will make their linked barrier stronger. Huo Yu Hao explains that his decomposition cannon could still punch through, but with hundreds of soldiers packed together, the barrier has to stretch thin, which actually makes it weaker over time. He realizes their enemy is trying to lure them into a trap in the open sky. Rather than avoid the bait, Huo Yu Hao decides he should take it head-on and turn the tables completely. He grabs Tang Wu Tang's hand and the two fly off to prepare. Down below, the two legions rotate through rest periods, recovering their strength while staying alert. Xia Shengchen, commander of the Evil Eye Tyrant Legion, coordinates both forces, while Xu Tianyuan, commander of the Imperial Dragon Legion, and his four vice commanders continue their meditation. Huo Yu Hao and Tang Wu Tang fly overhead again, and notice how disciplined the enemy is, patiently waiting to see who cracks first. Then an idea comes to Huo Yu Hao. He tells Tang Wu Tang that fully destroying these two legions might not actually be the smartest move. He explains that the Imperial Dragon Legion is the most valuable force the Sun Moon Empire's royal family controls directly, and that with the palace already reduced to ruins, there's a real chance the royal family has been wiped out. If the empire is going to fall into someone's hands eventually, Huo Yu Hao would rather it be someone like Zhu Zi than the current emperor or the Holy Ghost Church. Tang Wu Tang laughs it off, saying she trusts him completely and was only teasing. The two descend into the forest, keeping their distance from the legions for now. Both legions carry weapons that most soldiers never even get to see. The Evil Eye Tyrant Legion mainly relies on high-energy compression milk bottles, a new piece of technology that can hold as much stored soul power as a Class 7 Soul Engineer, letting a much weaker soldier fight for hours without drying out. The Imperial Dragon Legion, meanwhile, quietly holds the largest stockpile of Class 9 stationary soul cannon shells inside the hand that protects the nation, a secret even the Emperor himself does not fully know. Members of the royal family have led this legion for generations, keeping a private reserve rather than handing every shell to the crown, which is exactly why Xu Tianyuan treats each one as a last resort rather than a first response. Meanwhile, Xia Shengchen refuses to relax for even a moment. He knows to convince Huo Yu Hao and Tang Wu Tang that victory is within reach. But before that plan can fully come together, a scout reports something alarming. A massive force is approaching by land, and it is already surrounding them. Xia Shengchen tenses, wondering if reinforcements from the weak Douling Empire have finally shown up. He orders everyone except the 5 commanders to prepare for battle, privately hoping this new threat might even work in his favor as extra bait. The Soul Engineers clear the surrounding trees with their soul light rays to open a clean firing line. What steps out of the forest makes every one of them go cold. Massive skeletal fighters swing crude bone weapons. Bloated green corpses hop forward, dripping foul liquid. Headless warriors and hulking stitched-together giants shuffle in from every direction, radiating an overwhelming aura of death. None of these Soul Engineers, not even Xia Shengchen himself, have ever imagined facing an army like this. What they don't know is that every creature in front of them has come from Huo Yu Hao's spectral demiplane, a limitless reservoir of undead soldiers he commands using his necromancy. Xu Tianyuan wakes with fury, convinced this is the work of the Holy Ghost Church, an organization his empire recently allied with against his own objections. His vice commanders agree, certain that hidden enemies are trying to weaken the army and the war effort from within. Both commanders resolve to fight with everything they have to make sure word of this humiliation never leaves the forest alive. The battle explodes into chaos. Soul rays and cannon fire tear through the advancing horde as bones and broken bodies scatter across the ground. From above, Huo Yu Hao and Tang Wu Tang watch in quiet amazement at just how much firepower these two legions can put out. Even the massive abominations, some of the toughest spectral creatures in Huo Yu Hao's army, can't survive the concentrated barrage and collapse one after another.
but the wave of undead never seems to slow down, because every time one falls, its spirit fire quietly slips back through the spectral gate into the demiplane, ready to rebuild a new body. Huo Yuhao notices this returning energy and realizes his creatures aren't truly dying at all, just recycling. This lets him wear the legions down without any real cost to his own side. His demiplane runs on the light energy that living beings bring in during a fight, and after passing through 3 whole legions worth of soldiers earlier in the campaign, it is more than full enough to sustain a long engagement. Even so, Huo Yuhao is careful not to lean on this power too heavily, since the spectral creatures still form the backbone of an army he may need again later, and he'd rather conserve their strength than burn through it all in one confrontation. At one point, Huo Yuhao considers reaching for something far more decisive, a soul tool called the Sun Moon Divine Needle, which once belonged to the Starsky Dolulo. With his current strength, he could use it to end this fight in a single stroke, but the Sun Moon Divine Needle is instantly recognizable to anyone who has studied its history, and using it here would tell the entire Sun Moon Empire exactly who is behind this ambush. He decides the risk isn't worth it and keeps the weapon tucked away, choosing patience over a flashy finish. After a short lull, low chanting rises among the spectral ranks. Lich casters raise bone staffs, and a thick gray mist rolls toward the linked barrier. The Soul Engineers fire everything they have at it, but nothing happens. The mist simply settles on the fallen bones and corpses scattered on the battlefield, and to everyone's horror, those remains rise again as skeletons and lesser undead. The soldiers, already rattled, become convinced these creatures cannot be permanently defeated. Fear spreads through the ranks, and their disciplined shooting turns into a frenzy. Every soul tool fires non-stop, shredding the reanimated bodies to dust. But the panic doesn't stop even after the enemy in front of them is gone. Xiaoxuan Chen realizes too late that his own soldiers have lost control, and by the time he manages to calm them down, 5 minutes have passed and everyone is mentally exhausted rather than physically hurt. Then a nervous scout accidentally blurts out that there are still countless spectral creatures waiting deeper in the forest. The news spreads instantly, and a handful of soldiers push past their limits, break formation, and try to flee the barrier outright. Xu Tianyuan does not hesitate. He fires precisely at the fleeing soldiers to stop the panic from spreading further, and warns everyone that anyone attempting to abandon their post will suffer the same fate.
To prove his point and steady the Legion's nerve, he pulls out one of the Imperial Dragon Legion's most valuable weapons, a Class 9 stationary soul cannon shell, capable of leveling a huge portion of the battlefield in a single shot. He fires it without even bothering to aim carefully, and the resulting wave of energy wipes out more than a third of the remaining spectral force in an instant. Watching from a distance, Huo Yuhao is caught off guard. He hadn't expected his opponents to burn through such a valuable weapon this early. He quickly pulls his spectral army back out of the blast path to limit further losses, choosing to hold on to his own reserve weapon rather than escalate the fight further. As the smoke clears and the enemy retreats out of sight, cheers erupt inside the barrier. Su Tianwan and Shi Xiaoshen both breathe easier, convinced the worst is finally over. They order a rotating rest schedule so everyone can recover, unaware that the retreat is exactly what Huo Yuhao wants them to believe. As the two commanders warm themselves with hot soup and vow revenge against the Holy Ghost Church, snow begins to fall. The temperature in the Doling Empire's north is naturally cold this time of year, and nobody thinks much of a little snowfall. What none of them realize is that a lone figure has planted himself just outside their barrier, his presence swallowed entirely by the storm, slipping past their detectors without a trace. Layer by layer, the falling snow packs into a thickening shell of ice around the entire formation, and hidden inside that ice are quiet forces working to keep the true temperature outside, hidden from the soldiers within. The trap is built around a gap nobody thought to guard against, and by the time anyone realizes it, the cold has already done its damage. Nobody inside notices how quickly the world outside is turning against them until it's far too late. Huo Yuhao, who spent years training as a soul engineer himself before becoming a titled Do Luo, understands this blind spot better than almost anyone alive, and he uses it patiently while the two legions convince themselves they are simply waiting out a snowstorm. 4 hours pass, the two legions rest, eat, and take turns sleeping to recover both their strength and their nerve. Confident that the danger has passed, Su Tianwan finally gives the order to move out. When they lower their large shared barrier to prepare individual formations for departure, they're stunned to find a dome of solid ice still surrounding them from the outside, sealing them in like the walls of a house.
Amused at first, they blast a hole through it with soul rays, and freezing air rushes in. Su Tianwan orders every 10-person team to fire together and break out of the ice all at once. The moment the shell cracks open, the true scale of the trap becomes clear. Outside is a raging blizzard, and the temperature has already plunged to a brutal, bone-deep cold far beyond anything natural, cutting straight through their defenses despite their soul power. Before they can process what's happening, the entire ice dome gives way around them all at once, the sudden release of pressure rolling outward in one massive wave. The nearest formations take the worst of it, with dozens of soldiers in the outer ring caught directly in its path. Several more teams, weakened by the extreme cold, find their barriers crushed and freeze solid before they can recover. In total, 70 of the 300 Soul Engineers present don't make it out, with Sha Shen Chen's Evil Eye Tyrant Legion taking the heaviest toll, since they specialize in speed rather than raw defense. The survivors rise 500 meters into the sky where the unnatural cold finally fades and the world returns to normal. Pale and shaken, the two legions regroup, with Su Tianwan trying to comfort a devastated Sha Shen Shen, who has lost nearly 2/3 of his soldiers. They reform their linked barrier and retreat westward as fast as they can manage, while carrying their wounded. Along the way, a badly injured soldier can no longer keep flying. Following military tradition, Su Tianwan leans in to comfort the badly wounded soldier and mark his sacrifice for the record, a quiet duty commanders owe their wounded, so the man's family will later receive proper recognition and support. Just as Su Tianwan leans in, the injured soldier presses his hand to his chest, and a strange, dark blue swirl of energy erupts from his palm, tearing straight through Su Tianwan's personal barriers before anyone can react. A burst of raw spiritual force rips through the surrounding soldiers and sends Sha Shen Shen flying dozens of meters away. In the confusion, both the injured man and the earlier scout who first noticed him vanish along with the disturbance, leaving only chaos behind. Moments later, Su Tianwan collides with its own barrier and is struck down instantly by a hidden attacker. Sha Shen Shen rushes to help, but he's too late to do anything. The Imperial Dragon Legion's commander is gone in an instant. It turns out that the two imposters were Huo Yuhao and Tong Wutong the entire time, disguised using Huo Yuhao's spiritual interference abilities to slip inside the barrier undetected. With his advanced Ultimate Ice Core now fully unlocked, a single strike from Huo Yuhao was more than enough to bring down even a Class 9 Soul Engineer. Before retreating, the pair also make off with the Imperial Dragon Legion's most prized treasure, tucked away with Su Tianwan's other belongings. Sha Shen Shen is left staring at the wreckage, shaken and confused, only to soon discover that several more of his soldiers have been quietly influenced during the chaos, their eyes turning blood red. He orders them put down immediately, convinced the Holy Ghost Church has infiltrated his ranks. Watching from a safe distance, Tong Wutong admits she feels uneasy about everything that's happened. Huo Yuhao reassures her that this is simply what war demands, and that he has been holding back more than people realize. He reflects that losing to Jutsi in open combat has always been a matter of raw military strength rather than skill, and that if they can't win through direct confrontation, clever strategy is their only path forward. He admits that for a long time he believed his gentler instincts were a weakness holding him back from truly competing with someone as ruthless as Jutsi. Now he sees it differently. He tells Tong Wutong that he still intends to stay true to who he is, but that protecting the people he cares about sometimes means making choices he wouldn't consider before this war began. Tong Wutong squeezes his hand and tells him he doesn't see him as crueler at all, just more willing to do what needs to be done. With that, the two turn and fly back towards Douling City, hoping to help stabilize the chaos left behind by the invasion. When Huo Yuhao and Tong Wutong finally arrive back in Douling City, the smoke has cleared and the streets, though patrolled under curfew, feel far calmer than before. Using his spiritual detection, Huo Yuhao quickly locates the rest of his team near the ruins of the Imperial Palace, where they've been stationed for the past 10 hours. The two slip in quietly, catching the surrounding soldiers off guard with how easily they bypass detection. Soldiers and soul masters alike immediately raise their guard in alarm at two strangers who seemingly appeared out of nowhere, since nobody in the group had sensed them approaching at all.
Shu Sanqi vouches for them immediately and the group calms down, but Huo Yuhao notices something different from his senior. Shu Sanqi's eyes have turned bloodshot and his usual easygoing demeanor has been replaced by something far colder. When Huo Yuhao briefs him on the outcome of the ambush, weakening half of both legions, including the loss of the Imperial Dragon Legion's commander, while staying disguised as agents of the Holy Ghost Church, Shu Sanqi simply thanks him, his anger still simmering beneath the surface.
Pulling Jangnan Nan aside, Huo Yuhao learns the grim truth. The Sun Moon Empire's timed its attack perfectly, striking while the Doling imperial family was gathered together, wiping out nearly all of them in the process. Somehow, in the chaos, it was revealed that Shu Sanqi himself carries royal blood through his mother, and he has been using an old family token to restore order across the shattered city. The surrounding officials press Shu Sanqi to prove his claim. He lifts his hand and his shield begins to glow, transforming from its usual black surface into a shimmering golden one marked with a small serpent. This is no longer the ordinary shield of the Xuanwu turtle everyone knew. It has evolved into the legendary Xuanwu shield itself. As 8 soul rings rise around him, the assembled officials realize just how extraordinary this makes him, a cultivator barely in his 20s already standing at a level most spend a lifetime chasing. The Empire's premier, though clearly moved, presses further since no one from Shu Sanqi's family line has ever successfully triggered such a rare transformation. Shu Sanqi reveals his other identity as a student of Shrek Academy, showing his badge as proof and explaining that he and his 6 teammates earned the title of the Shrek 7 Monsters after twice winning the Continental Soul Dueling Tournament. He credits part of his strength to a fellow student's discovery of spirits, abilities gained without needing to kill soul beasts, and reveals that he himself carries a rare 100,000-year spirit, the Golden Tortoise. Then Shu Sanqi introduces the Empire's officials to the person standing quietly beside him. He explains that Huo Yuhao is the 2nd strongest soul master currently at Shrek Academy, second only to the legendary Elder Xuan, and that he is both the future master of the Sea God's Pavilion and the founder of the entire Spirit Pagoda system that the Doling Empire has already begun to study. As the weight of this news settles over the room, an elderly general steps forward and kneels, declaring that the Empire desperately needs Shu Sanqi's leadership now more than ever, even as a cautious premier hesitates over the risk of handing power to someone whose identity, however convincing, has yet to be fully verified. The old general fires back sharply, pointing out that Shu Sanqi has already proven himself through action by holding the capital together when everyone else was scrambling for answers, and that hesitation right now could hand the Sun Moon Empire an opening they can't afford to give. With the Empire's elite forces already committed to defending Shrek Academy elsewhere, and the capital still reeling, the room understands that a decision cannot wait much longer, and every eye turns back to Shu Sanqi to see what he'll say next. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly like the video, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. In the next episode, we'll see whether Shu Sanqi accepts the throne and how Shrek Academy responds to the devastating loss of the Doling imperial family. So, see you in the next video.